there, Server Room 17 once again. This is my Bayonetta 2 Infinite Climax video walkthrough. This is chapter 14, it's entitled The Witch Hunts, and this is a fantastic change of pace. We are now wearing the witch armour, and we're going to be kicking some ass against things that we're a little closer to in size now that we have this crazy armour. And one of the things I like most about what I'm wearing is if you look closely, Bayonetta is in fact straddling the machine and riding it as if it was some kind of hover bike. It's kind of brilliant, and of all the parts of the game, if you're going to get any frame drops, it's going to be here. My only criticism of this section is completely down to my lack of ability to hold a button and move the camera at the same time on the Wii U remote. That aside, these sections are super fun, and you'll probably do them a lot because they're really easy to get halos on. Because if you do the 3-punch combo and you hold each punch, just look at the style points it's building. It's insane. If you activate Umbra and Climax, you build even more, and if you keep your combo going, you're going to get some serious halos here. A good example was, before I started making this guide, I wanted to buy some costumes to wear something different for the walkthrough to keep it interesting. I played this level, I bought the Gaze of Despair. Couldn't even say the damn word then, my mouth was like no. I equipped it, I did this level, and I got 700,000 halos from it. And I've been reading online that if you have the Bangle of Time, you can get even more if you do it correctly, and you can keep your combo going, because of course Witch Time gives you a modifier on your style points, and you're able to use it at will if you have magic power. This vehicle builds magic power really quickly. Bangle of Time, held combos, it's win-win-win. You'll probably be able to get millions of halos if you know how to do it. And anyone saving up for the platinum ticket, that is exactly what you should be doing. However, this is a walkthrough, so I'm not going to be doing it here. I'm just going to be playing as I normally would. Here are some kinships. You can get Witch Time off their blast. I messed it up a little bit and took a hit at first, but it's all good, because this machine is very durable, and if you need any life, there's plenty of things to smash that generally give you the green laurels. You might also notice something here, which is something I've neglected to mention. My camera's pulled out the most it will go. In the options, I've turned it to maximum away from the character. I think Bayonetta is best played at this range because it's easier to see. Don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful game, and if you want to have the camera really close, feel free to do it because the game looks even nicer closer up. However, as much as I enjoy being that close to Bayonetta's bouncing ass, and I must admit I do enjoy it, I think it's much easier to play when you can see more of the screen. It's just like on Wonderful 101. I always go for the second camera angle when it pulls the camera out in every situation, because situational awareness is half the battle, and if you don't have it, it becomes very difficult. Even more so if it's a giant Amazonian proportioned lady who's taking up 1/3 of the screen, and 1/3 of her is a very alluring part of, well, you know what I mean. It's difficult. Speaking as a man, we're so abused in modern gaming, it's a disgrace. I can't play any game without getting sexual thoughts. No, it's just not true. But this game is probably one, if it's going to stay your loins, it will be Bayonetta, because it is insanely sexualized. But that is the style of the game, and my girlfriend said a pretty interesting thing. You know, did it need to be? And I suppose it didn't. But then it wouldn't be what it is, and it's this weird, like, contradiction of, it kind of makes the game what it is, even though, could the game be made without it? Definitely. I just don't think it would, I don't know, it's that weird thing of, I personally don't think I need to see flesh of a voluptuous female every 30 seconds when I play a game. I don't have to have that. There are these fantastic websites on the internet that give me that whenever I need it. But in a game, I don't need it. I'm here to play a game, believe it or not. So, there's just this dissonance in my brain of, if you take it away, you take away what makes it. But at the same time, you could really easily take it away. And I can't logicize it, my brain won't work. It just doesn't do it. There is a gaping hole where this conundrum exists, completely solved and sorted, and I can't get my head around it. And it must be the caveman in me that's just going, ugh, ugh, woman, or something, because I can't imagine a Bayonetta without it. And I would be the first one to admit that it can go. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of like that episode of South Park where Baby's boobs destroyed society. Have you ever seen that one? Essentially, all the boys suddenly start thinking that Baby's really cool and they all want to be friends with her, and none of them really know why. And it turns out that her boobs are coming through. And of course, all the boys are noticing this on a subconscious level, and it's triggering their bodies to respond in ways that bodies do. And there's this really hilarious scene where every time the boys start saying what they're going to do with Baby to become her friend and that she's going to be their friend and no one else's friend, they do that documentary thing where apes disagree and then they start hugging at each other and kind of doing the masculine displays of kind of prostration and pride, and they essentially fight over females. But it's done so elegantly and it's really, really funny. I'm not too sure what season it is, but it's called Baby's Boobs Destroy Society, I believe. And that is pretty much Bayonetta, I guess. But this is Prudence. And this is a really fun fight because you can chain a big old combo against him. He will telegraph every attack he has. Most of them are very simple to dodge. Occasionally they can be tricky. The only ones that are tricky are the missiles because they have this splash that even when you dodge it, even when you think you're nowhere near it, it can sometimes catch you out. And there's a lot of parts of Bayonetta like that on this difficulty, because now that you have Witch Time and Infinite Climax, you'll be dodging mid-combo, and because you're not interrupting the boss because it's on Infinite Climax with your attacks, when you come out of Witch Time quite quick and abruptly, he'll hit you with the next hit. And sometimes it's a very jarring thing, and it's all about learning the subtleties of the difficulty. But this is when the game goes all Zone of the Ender's second runner, and I particularly think this is a fantastic set piece. This gives me faith that Platinum may make a combat game that features, you know, robots, some kind of Gundam. Can you imagine a Gundam game with Platinum at the helm and a big budget and a 3-year development cycle? God, it could be beautiful. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even have to be the Gundam series that you prefer, because everybody has their favourite. But just knowing the scale that this development team can make and how awesome they would probably make everything. Like, just imagine being Wing Zero in Gundam Wing fighting Tall Geese or Epion, you know. That'd be almost as good as Zone of the Ender's second runner. And I don't know if you knew, or if you know, sorry, I don't know why I mentioned it in past tense, but they've kind of put it on hiatus, Zone of the Ender's 3. And I'm hoping it's because they're going to change completely what the game's about, because the notion of the orbital frames landing on a planet that's got prehistoric technology just sounds a little bit too Star Ocean-y for me. I want it to be, you know, everybody on an equal footing, lots of crazy space colonies and awesome space battles and machines that are just so ridiculously huge and awesomely humanoid and well designed that it's a constant, insane, super fast anime masterpiece. And with the new technology, how the hell can it not be? Because the PS2 did second runner, folks. The PS2, and it's still a fantastic game, even if the frame rate is literally single digits at times. But that is the end of that part of the fight. Very simple. And then we're going to be fighting Justice. However, he has a very strange Latin name, which is it Sapientia or Ayustia? Something like that. I think Prudence is Sapientia. Yeah, this is Latin for justice, I think, this fella. And I think this is the hardest of the virtues in this game, because whenever it moves, it's going to attack, and the attacks are really fast. And if you don't get Witch Time on them, they've probably hit you. So, like, for instance, this one here is a really tricky one, because every so often, you'll get Witch Time, you'll be moving past it, and it'll still register damage on you when it comes back into real time. A lot of this fight is about knowing when to dodge, like this one here. That attack normally is quite easy to dodge. That example I gave you just then was a little bit tougher because I was in the middle of it and I just didn't dodge it very well. Whenever he dodges to the left or right that you see now, he generally follows it up with a hook that's incredibly fast. And of course, I've mentioned it, so now he won't say it. When it's back to the cock and balls, he has multiple attacks here. Whenever the spiky conker balls move, they'll do an attack like that. Whenever the face moves, it'll do a headbutt. And Infinite Climax is possibly the fastest game I've ever played when it comes to enemy attacks. And I'm opening a request here for people who've played games where the attacks come at the player as fast as this game, at 60 frames per second, because I just don't think there exists one. Like, even on Vanquish and stuff, where some of those projectiles are almost instantaneous, some of the attacks on this game are faster than that, and that was stupid to begin with. But that's the end of the witch hunts, folks. Thank you very much for watching. You take care now.